Hey guys, I'm Nicole Virgil. Welcome to my neighborhood. For those of you who are new, this channel is dedicated to educating people about their inherent right to sustain themselves on their own property, in part by growing their own food. This initiative was precipitated by events beginning in 2015 and culminating in February 2019 when the City of Elmhurst banned our backyard hoop house, while continuing to permit other hoop houses and membrane structures all over town. I am so excited to share my conversation with John Kohler about our situation as we work towards passing a state law that protects our inherent property rights. For more information, please visit our website at elmhursthoopla.com and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I upload more videos. Here we go.
I think it's horrific what they're doing, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's not right. I believe it's not right.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm fighting. This started back in 2015, so it's been a few years.
Good for you.
But I just feel like I can't let it go. I can't let it go. I feel like
I don't blame you.
You know, people should be able to grow food, and in our climate, we need some kind of crop protection. So, you know,
I completely agree.
It's not rocket science. Well. So, welcome to my YouTube channel, John Kohler. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, can you give our viewers a little bit of background about yourself? I've been watching your videos for several years. You helped me get started back in 2013 with some inspiration on growing my own food. But I suppose a lot of my viewers maybe don't know who you are or haven't seen your channel. So can you just give me a little background?
Sure, no problem. So my name is John Kohler, and I have a YouTube channel called Growing Your Greens, and I'm proud to say actually it's the most watched YouTube gardening channel at this time. I have over 650,000 followers or subscribers on there, and I think my video is up to 80 million views, and I have produced more content than anybody that I'm aware of, not only in number of videos, which I have over 1,500 videos, but a lot of my videos, fortunately or unfortunately, are long content videos, so they're half hour to hour long. I really kind of try to get in deep on different subjects, not just give you like the quick verbiage, because it's really important for me to grow my own food, because I do grow my own food and have for many years. My YouTube channel started 10 years ago, so I'm one of the oldest YouTubers in terms of length of making videos online to teach people about gardening online. But I've started gardening. I've been gardening probably like 20 years now, because I had failing health, and I literally need to figure out how to have a higher quality food than money can buy. And, I was given a second chance, not through any kind of diet at that point, but I could only say through higher powers. And I'm here to spread a message on the planet of just, taking responsibility for our health and being able to have access to and be able to eat healthy, nutritious food that, in my opinion, money can't buy in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's an interesting way you put it, that money can't buy. There's many people who have said to me, Nicole, why are you trying to grow your own food? We have Whole Foods. And I'm like, you can't buy that at Whole Foods. So I see on your videos, you go around the country. I don't know if you travel out of the country, but you visit a lot of people, yeah?
Yeah, so I travel all around as much as I'm possible and able to, aside from have my own garden here. Making videos is fun for me. I love to do it. I love to share what I'm learning. And also, to me, it gives me a shtick to visit farms and say, hey, I need to make a video for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And what can you teach me? So then I get to learn. But then also I get to share with people out there in YouTube land. And then, of course, I get to expose good farms, good people doing good work to others, so that they could get more business, increase their revenue, or just create more awareness, because a lot of people into this kind of lifestyle and living, just want to share the wealth with others about it, because they're just not quite, a lot of people aren't turned on yet. And, hey, gardening is one of the best hobbies you could possibly have.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So between your life experience and all the people that you've gone and visited and seen around the world, what are the, I don't know, top 3, top 4, top 5 reasons that you hear people being so passionate about wanting to grow their own food? I mean, I know what I think. I feel like this is a human right to grow food. I don't think it's that complicated, but Are there reasons maybe that you've heard from other people or that you feel yourself? What are the top reasons that people are wanting to grow their own food?
I mean, it's so many different reasons. It's hard to say, sum it up or anything, but I mean, my personal reason is number one is the quality of the food. I mean, the quality of the food I could grow in my backyard is far superior than to that what could be bought in a store, just in terms of quality, but then also variety. Like in the store, you go to Whole Foods or whatever grocery store, you think, oh my, there's like 200 varieties of produce. I could grow over 5,000 different types of edible foods in my backyard. Not that I'm doing that, but I grow significantly more varieties than most people, and I grow exotic Asian vegetables that literally I can't, if I wanted to, I can't even buy here where I live. I mean, I would literally have to go to Hawaii to find some of these foods that I grow that I have access to now in my backyard. So that's my personal opinion, and you know, that's really important. But then I visited a guy in San Francisco, and I mean, I remember specific instances and this guy was from Europe, right? Yeah. And they really have a food culture in Europe. We don't really have a food culture in the U.S. Our food culture in the U.S. is junk food, fast food, and that's not a culture at all, in my opinion. But I mean, he had a culture, and like he remembered tomatoes and this certain variety, Roma tomato, when he was a kid, and you know, he couldn't find that in San Francisco, so he put up actually a greenhouse from Harbor Freight Tool in his backyard so that he could grow that same exact Roma tomato that he had when he was a kid, because it's that food culture like in Europe and many other places around the world that they have that we don't. And he wanted to bring some of that in foggy San Francisco where without a hoop house, he probably would be growing those good tomatoes, you know? I mean, it could be things from like just having access to food, you know, people in different parts of the country I've visited, not some of them aren't always the richest areas. Yeah. And, you know, some people literally have food deserts. And it's important, you know, that, I mean, it has been proven by science that fruits and vegetables are some of the healthiest foods in the entire planet. And it's quite unfortunate that many corner liquor stores may have a bag of chips, but they don't have any fresh fruits and vegetables to eat. And if they do sell them, then they're just really poor quality, and like I would even give them to my dog to eat. You know, it's quite sad. And then inner city peoples or wherever, you know, are eating all these processed junk foods that are not bringing about health and causing, in my opinion, healthcare issues. Yeah. You know, so to have access to these foods, these health foods, you know, that otherwise would not happen. You know, for people that you know, seed packets are inexpensive, and many people don't know that, you know, you could buy seed packets with, you know, with the you know, food stamps or whatever, you know, they call it the WIC these days, you know. Right. And that's a better investment in food stamps, in my opinion, than buying food that if you eat it once, it's gone, versus buying seeds where you could grow a whole garden and feed yourself and your family and become empowered. That's a great idea. You know, I mean, it's also for many people about saving money. I mean, oh my God, have you ever tried to go to Whole Foods? Some people call it whole paycheck, or farmers markets around the country. I've visited farmers markets around the country. Some are better than others. Yeah. But some of the food they sell at farmers market, if you want to get this local food, right, is super expensive. Also, let's not even talk about climate change. How climate change and like all the imported food, whether that's, you know, food imported to California, to Illinois, where you live, or whether that's food from China coming in and we're buying it at the grocery store. Like some people are just like, I want to be more, you know, I don't like climate change and I want to be more local and eat more local food. Growing your own food. There's nothing more than local, stepping 5 steps out of your back door, like I did last night to make my dinner, you know, than that. Like it can't get any more sustainable on the entire planet than that. Right. So, I mean, there's just like so many different elements I could just go over and go over. I probably went over far more than 3, but you know, food, you know, impacts every level and every aspect of our life. I mean, have you had any experiences where the government's tried to interfere with your ability to grow food, or have you had any stories about such a thing? Yeah, so I've actually had, you know, 2 minor personal experiences myself. So one was I had some LED lights in my bathroom that were shining outdoors. So then it looked like I had a grow house operation. Yeah. God forbid. And I was growing stuff inside my house. I was growing my tree collards inside my house. But one year the cops came to my door and wanted to look in my house because they thought I was growing an illegal herb. So that impacted me directly from growing food. And then another way I was impacted was I got I got a citation from the city in the former city that I lived that will remain nameless right now for basically non-upkeep of my yard for having brown plants. Now, the brown plants that were brown, I was letting them go brown because, well, it frosted and I didn't cut some of them down yet, so some of them I should have cut out. But on another hand, many of the plants were basically bolting, going to seed, and I was saving seeds for next year harvest, which was another reason why I had some brown plants, not because they're weeds that I didn't take care of them. It's because I'm saving the very valuable seeds. So, I worked all that out. I harvested everything. I cleaned it all out. So that was not impacted. I have a full front yard garden that I'm surprised they actually haven't tried to bother me more about. So that's been really good. But yeah, so that's me personally. Then I have heard of other peoples around the country, literally, that have city ordinances that allow them growing ornamentals in their front yard, but prevent them from growing food in their front yard. Like I think one of those was in like Florida.
What growing zone are you in down there?
So I'm in the zone 9A. So luckily, where we can grow year round without protection. That being said, in the summertime in my zone 9A, it's the desert. So it's Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
And I have a structure in my backyard that I put up for shade cloth.
Oh, right.
I just put a shade cloth on top to prevent some of the sun on half my garden. Yeah. The other half I just leave fully uncovered. I haven't been bothered by the city to date on that yet.
Yeah.
But many people have shade structures because it is just hot. They put up shade structures for their dog or for whatever else so that, we don't have a loss of dog life or human life or, in my opinion, plant life.
Right. So in my town, shade cloth would be the same consideration as a hoop house because it's a membrane. It's not a hard surface. It's not wood. It's not glass. And so they consider that a membrane. So that would be illegal. So
wow.
Like, is that crazy or what? Like, we mentioned that to them that, in different climates, you might need shade cloth or like I use insect netting sometimes because that's
illegal. You can't put a small hoop house that's 5 feet tall with insect netting over your crops.
Anything that's over 36 inches is illegal, but a lot of my crops grow taller than my leeks are 45 inches. Like, yeah, you can't. Yeah. So it's crazy. Anyway, so when you travel, I guess, even though you're not using a hoop house for cold winter or cold weather, I'm sure you've seen hoop houses when you travel. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I have a greenhouse at my California place. And then here I actually have greenhouses that are actually enclosed underneath a freestanding hard roof that was already existing on the property. So I basically have two greenhouses, or basically hoop houses, because they're just simple, like carport, style greenhouses for the most part. Basically a hoop house.
Yeah, yeah. So what are your thoughts about that? How involved should the local government be in regulating structures on people's yards for growing food? Like, what do you think?
So, for growing food purposes, I don't think that they should have a problem with that because I think it should be our inherent right to be able to grow our own food. And to have access to good, healthy food. That's the most important thing for me. I'm a big food rights advocate. And especially local food. I would think they're in Illinois, Chicago, your Chicago area, right?
Yeah, I have found out in the past couple of years, Illinois, like we're in the Midwest, we have some of the most fertile soils in the country, and yet we import 95% of our food. 95% of our food is coming from California and Mexico. Like, we're growing soybeans and field corn for CAFOs. That's what we grow here, and we export it. And, like, that's insane to me. That's just insane. So,
most states in the nation, aside probably from California and maybe Arizona to some extent, basically import all their food also. So, that's not really irregular. That's just how the system and how the big agriculture system has been set up, which, my goal is to dethrone the big ag culture by having people take responsibility for their own selves. And if everybody had a backyard garden, to at least offset a good percentage of the food that would have to be imported to basically make the world a better, sustainable, and even more importantly, resilient. And that's another thing, right? Is a reason why people garden that I want to mention earlier is resiliency. Because what if the big trucks stop rolling in Nobody has food that's being mass hysteria. But if you're growing your own food, you are your own island, right? You'll be able to provide for you and your family.
What would you tell people here in a cold climate, how to work with this situation? I mean, maybe you have some suggestions to voice out to my listeners on my channel, recommendations, how to handle this.
Sure. So from a legal standpoint, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one on TV or on YouTube, and I have no ideas about that.
No, from a growing standpoint.
Okay, sure. So from a growing standpoint, so then only thing allowable is 36-inch tall hoops with covering in your backyard.
Yeah, only up to 100 square feet, I think. Yeah.
Only up to 100 square feet also?
Yeah, it's not even, it's a joke. It's a joke.
That's totally a joke. So number one, I would use that, what they allow by legal definition. If you weren't being hassled, I might put up more than 100 square feet, but not above that height so nobody could see it. And unless you get reported, which, I don't think they're going around with drones and trying to find people with over 100 square feet of, covering in their yard, which I think would be totally insane.
Yeah.
That's what I would do personally. I can't tell anybody to break the law because technically I would be breaking the law if I did more than 100 square feet over 3 feet tall. But I would cover as much as possible up to the legal limit of 3 feet. Number two thing I do for all means, and whether you live in Elmhurst or anywhere else where you get a cold winters.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first to say gardening in when it's cold outside is not fun. I was just filming a video and it's only like maybe in the high 40s today. Or it was in the high 50s, but at night when the sun went down, it was like 40. So I was filming out there and it was a bit chilly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would encourage people to grow indoors in the winter. And I would tell them to grow the microgreens. The microgreens are the most important food.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because other things could last in the ground if you did grow them and plant appropriately. Like you could be harvesting beets and carrots that are full size.
Totally.
That you're just keeping alive by having the hoop out on it. And they're still continuing to grow little by little, and you harvest them as you need them. Yeah. That being said, grow microgreens indoors because that can be done year round, wherever you live, as long as we have a comfortable climate. And they're done in 7 to 14 days, and they are a powerhouse of nutrition.
Yeah, okay.
Powerhouse of nutrition, like 4 to 40 times more nutritious than the full-size vegetables. My goal would be to eat 2 flats of microgreens a day, and I have plenty of videos on microgreens. Actually, I visited a guy in Baltimore, inner city Baltimore, lives in one of those houses that are literally as wide as my hallway, literally.
Oh.
And a 3-story house, and he made a business out of doing that, which I'm amazed the city didn't try to shut him down for having a farm inside his house. Maybe he's not in Elmhurst though.
Yeah.
But he made over 100,000, a year by selling microgreens out of his 10-foot by 15-foot room in his house because he had a brain injury and he couldn't work. So, I mean.
What city was this in?
That's in the city of Baltimore, Maryland.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, this has been very informative. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to my viewers and to help me get started here with this brand new little YouTube channel and advocate for growing in my backyard in Zone 5 here in Chicago. And hopefully, just so you know, these videos and this YouTube channel was started primarily because I can't get around to all the state legislators all throughout the state. So this way I can send the links out to the legislative aides and the chiefs of staff, and they pass the link around. It's been very effective so far, so you'll be part of that, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to help because, once again, I think growing food should be our inherent right, and especially with the quality of the food and the food system that's being provided today on a big industrial agriculture scale. In my opinion, coming from a health food aspect, they are not adding things to the soil that they should be to grow high quality food, and it's causing health challenges despite people eating more fruits and vegetables, which is better. There's phytochemicals and phytonutrients and minerals, especially the trace minerals missing from the foods of today that people could easily add into their backyard growing, to have a more nutritious, nutritionally dense food so that we could be healthier and, just have a life and the liberty that we would think we would have here in the United States.
Right. Yeah. As you were just talking, one of the big things that I always think about is the freshness of the food.
Oh yeah.
Like another component, like no matter what crop you're growing, if it's not fresh, it's not the same, and by the time the food travels 1,000 miles, it's just not, it's not the same.
The taste is not it does not taste the same. Number one,
Right.
Number two, there can be significant nutritional declines, as proven by science, like published science.
Yeah.
Within 24 hours, certain nutrients, not all. It's not like the food's bad anymore, but
right.
Certain of the more I would say important nutrients in there for our health can significantly dissipate. So that's another reason why. I mean, when I'm making dinner last night, I didn't harvest the stuff in the morning, leave it in my fridge all day. I was out making dinner. I harvested, washed it, cut it, prepared it, put it in my food, and then I ate it.
Yeah.
And for the best health bang for my buck. And I think and I think it makes me sad that people have not experienced this. Maybe you've tried a tomato at the farmer's market in the season. They taste really good, and then you've had a tomato from the grocery store that in the middle of winter when it just tastes like nothing.
Yeah.
But like everything that you grow in your garden could taste like that fresh tomato from the farmer's market. But even better than that, like kale tastes amazingly sweet, not this bitter green that's turning yellow that you're buying, a week later because it's been harvested, picked, and shipped and lost good nutrition, and it starts to taste bad in my opinion. Like it's rare that I buy kale at the store. I just can't even do it.
Yeah. No. So what I was going to tell you is we'd usually do a pea crop in the spring, 2 full rows of peas, and we would put a bowl out of peas because people would walk by and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't like peas. I don't like peas." And we'd say, "Well, have you ever had a fresh pea?" "Oh no, my mother used to feed me those canned peas when I was a kid, and I don't like." Well, that's not what this is. This is food. That was a food product. This is actual food. And we would let them take, and they would, my kids would see like, "Mom, they never had a pea." Mom, and they would taste one, and the people would be like, "That's what peas taste like." I think so many people just don't even understand what we're trying to do by growing real food because they don't even have a memory of it. It's like they just don't know. Canned peas? I don't want to eat canned peas. So anyway, yeah, fresh is good. Fresh is better. Well, John, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for giving me so much of your time. I hope to catch up to your phenomenal YouTube channel, and I'll keep in touch, and we'll keep fighting the good fight out here.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, if anybody of your watchers or followers want to follow me, they can check me out on my YouTube channel, Growing Your Greens, for videos I put out every, 3 to 7 days whenever I can find the time to do it.
Right, good. growingyourgreens.com. Thank you, John Kohler. You're the man.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Good night.